with Forbidden Door in the rearview mirror, and all in and all out about 2 months away. In the meantime, we've got television like this, so let's talk about it. I'm John Renton with my review of AEW Dynamite from Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. The post-Forbidden Door edition of Dynamite, the flagship show of All Elite Wrestling. There were a few moments I didn't mind on this show, but this really was filler, and I still barely know her. So, I do want to know what you guys have to say, and what did you think of Forbidden Door? Are you excited for All In? Are you excited for the upcoming Blood and Guts? We can't call it War Games. Blood and Guts. So anyway, yeah. 5,000 to 5,500 people in a 17K arena. The fans were making the most noise that they could. They only used half the arena, but there were times that the crowd sounded a little bit cavernous. Maybe running this string of shows in Canada and doing the multitude of tapings and what, it just... I'm really worried that they didn't think this through. That being said, we start off with Wild Thing. You make Hamilton sing, and you get the BCC and Ishii firing up the Wild Thing. So yeah, you get Tomohiro Ishii and Jon Moxley. A rematch of the G1 2019. Where, God, to think that was almost 4 years ago. Oh, good God. It seems like so long ago. And it was only 4 goddamn years. Nevertheless, chops, headbutts, no selling, chops, more chops, Mox bleeding. At one point, Eddie Kingston said, "Hit my music, I've had enough." He won't do anything to Mox, but he says, "Claudio, Yuta, don't do anything." And then we get more action and more chops and more headbutts and more no-selling and Mox bleeding because it's a day that ends in Y. A superplex by Ishii at one point. A choke. Ishii has no neck, so it's really hard to choke him. And then we get a series of 1 counts. And sometimes this works in New Japan. I'm sorry. The crowd was kind of into it. I'm kind of over Mox doing this stuff. And nevertheless, Death Rider for 2. Ishii tries to fire back up. But then we get a stomp and a Death Rider again. 1, 2, 3. And more Mox and Kingston drama and everything. What will happen? Will we be like Booker T in WCW 2000? Save the drama for your mama. No, we're going to get more drama here. Because, A, we have something else going on between Cole and MJF, where I'm glad that Cole is okay because he originally was Adam Cold, baby. He missed his match with Filthy Tom Lawler. Let's do a make good and have Filthy Tom Lawler show up. Oh, I don't know. Maybe on the same show Blood and Guts is. That would be nice. Cole versus Lawler. 10-minute match with hard-hitting action and Lawler getting to show what he can do. Sign me the fuck up. MJF says, well, if we're going to be a team, we got to have merch. And he has a shirt already made, Better Than You, Baby, which is creative. MJF and Cole are doing the best they can with this blind eliminator Queeful lottery thing. And then backstage, Renee is confronting Mox, saying, I've had it with this. Eddie, fix this. They acknowledge that Renee and Moxley are married. I mean, we knew they were, but the fact they're doing it here, Renee's like, I've had enough. I don't want this. I'm tired of this. And Mox did say during this, no one cares about any of that Shakara BS. To be fair, I mean, was Shakara really ever anything a lot of people cared about? And it was what it was. Eddie did have one line during this, nobody kicks your ass but me. I'm kicking my ass, do you mind? Alright, so we're going to get Eddie and Mox eventually pairing up again. Recaps of Omega and Ospreay. Check out my Forbidden Door review if you want to hear my full thoughts. I will just say they got me and then lost me. And it's a real shame because I wanted to like that one as much as their Wrestle Kingdom 17 match, which I did like. What I didn't like was the next match. Keith Lee, who dyed his hair black again. He can go natural. He can do whatever the hell he wants. It's his body. It's his body. It's his look. He can do whatever. I just gotta say the black hair actually does suit him better. At least while he's competing in the ring. The Viking Man can because he does a bunch of flips and more flips. Really can't do anything there. And Orange Cassidy. Oh boy, I will never know fucking peace because I can't get away from Orange Cassidy. And speaking of never knowing peace, Garcia and the former 2.0, Magic and Cool Hand Luke. I don't care. I don't care. I don't fucking care. Vikino did a whole bunch of stuff. Cool flips. got the crowd active. This is how they're featuring a guy that got quite a bit of attention when he faced Omega. And then was on Rampage, I think, in a 3-way against Commander and... was it Phoenix? I'm actually desperately trying to remember. No, it was Dralistico. But it was... Keith Lee at one point beats one motherfucker with another motherfucker, tosses Vikingo around. And then, after very loud spot calling, good goddamn Christ, it was John Cena levels of spot calling. The overhead, what used to be called the Big Bang Catastrophe, Keith Lee hitting his BBC 1, 2, 3. Hangman and the Bucks are backstage, immediately interrupted by the Dark Order. Dear God, I will definitely never know peace. Package on Danielson and Okada. I hope Danielson recovers, and man, oh man, that was my favorite match on the pay-per-view. Renee is with Jericho and Sammy. It's an Anything Goes tag, and the Painmaker is coming back. What the fuck's a Painmaker? Oh, you're wearing cool spikes and a mask. Great, Jericho. Just keep going through that midlife crisis. But what was next was an actual crisis. Hangman and the Bucks versus the Dark Order. The kid's there. I don't care about this elite bullshit. I'm tired of it. I don't care. If you're into what they do, then you probably enjoy this. I'm not. And this is just more evidence that Tony Khan needs to be a boss and not one of the people that just keeps everybody signed well past their sale date. I don't want people to be unable to earn money, but you cannot tell me the Dark fucking Order should still be a thing. Anyway, so Hangman ended up winning with the Buckshot Lariat. And then the BCC runs in. The Dark Order does nothing. Mox doesn't want to see Eddie Kingston get beat up, but then says, hey, we're going to do Blood and Guts on the 19th of July in Boston. I may actually try to work a way where I take a day off because I really do need an extra day off from work. I might make it that week and might actually watch Dynamite live just to see the train wreck and just to see if I actually lose my shit, because the last 2 Blood and Guts matches weren't all that good because they went on forever. And then the Owens Men tournament packages. Look out, we're going to get more matches on Collision. MJF talks to Cole again backstage where Roddy Strong is, and he says, he calls him generic white guy. He calls Roddy Strong generic white guy. Besides the work, he's not wrong. Because one thing Roddy can't really do is talk. He just can't. Recaps of Jack Perry's heel turn on Hook. Jack Perry comes out, stops the Baltimore thing. We're not going to hear that song anymore. Probably smart because the song is more over than he has been lately. He's wearing sunglasses, so you know he's a badass heel. In all seriousness, this was the best live promo that Jack Perry has done. But you know how many great Jack Perry live promos there's been? Big fat goose egg. Some have been decent. This was better. He's like, I'm still young, I'm still cashing fat checks, and I'm still banging the hottest bitch in this place. If him and Anna Jay are happy together and she doesn't mind being called the bitch that he bangs, cool. And he tried to really heal up on the crowd, knocking the fact that they got to deal with the wildfires, the smoke and all that. He knocks the FTW championship. Jungle Hook only worked because of them, or because of him, not because of Hook. And he's a second generation talent, doesn't deserve to be there. Jack's only really there because he hangs out with the California crew, and he's the son of an actor. And I'm going to beat the shit out of you, and they don't bleep it because I think Warner Bros. Discovery just said, we're just not going to fucking bother because they don't want to listen to us. And then here's Hook, and he chases Jack backstage. And it was actually kind of funny how they fade away for a bit, and then he went to the parking garage, and Jack Perry dived head first right into the goddamn car. And it probably smashed his head on the door. And then he takes off. The driver takes off, and then Hook accidentally knocks a security guard or a trash can into a security guard, and that's it for that. So we're just blazing by through this goddamn show. Sammy does the cue cards thing while this is going on during the break. And then Ruby with the Outcast. Ruby is supposed to take on Britt Baker. Britt also got sick at the same comic book convention that Adam Cole, baby, got sick at. It was in my state, so I will take no responsibility, but I will say that the city they were in is kind of absolutely shit. So, if you know, you know. Alexia Nicole was Ruby's opponent. I've heard of her. I've seen posts on Twitter, retweets from people to follow the indie scene. She has a good look. She got a decent reaction. She got beat pretty quickly. And if Ruby's cutting a promo, and I just want to say right now, if they just have Ruby cut promos and they have Tony cut promos and they get rid of that slinky neck twat, then I'm all for it. I have stated how I feel about Saraya, Defender of Abusiverse, and I will continue to state that she does not deserve this big fat contract she got from Tony Khan. Why? Because she got paid for years to sit at home by WWE? No, she can't do anything anymore. She's dragging down the women's division. But Ruby says, oh, Britt, these people don't love you. They'll, what'd she say? They shit on you if you sneeze in the wrong direction. What? The fuck? Ruby is trying way too hard here. Ruby can be a good heel. Yeah, it's going to be Britt versus Ruby next week. John Morrison, who is one of the first wrestlers I met at the first indie show I went to. Great talent. Still looks good. Talented. So happy for him and Taya. They continue to work hard, and I think he could be a big benefit to AEW. He is part of QTV, which means he cannot be a big benefit to AEW because QTV is awful. God awful. And whoever that blonde is, you need to not feature her anymore because that thing that they tried to have her do with Anthony Bowens, where he did get a big pop for saying, I'm gay on, well, tape television, but still, that was not good. That was not good. Johnny TV. Rampage, by the way, has Sheeta and Taya, Claudio and Commander, and a couple other matches. This is the last Rampage review I will be doing. I cut NXT from the WWE side. I'm cutting Rampage here. I may still check out the matches, but I got to cut back. 6 weekly wrestling shows when there's about that much good among all the 6. I got to cut some back. And then Collision. Tournament action, Lookout is coming, and Statlander and Lady Frost and MJF will be in the ring. Cool. Dynamite, Lee and Swerve and Darby and Cassidy as part of the Blind Eliminator Queeful Lottery Battle Royal. Sting and Darby against Jericho and Sammy. Anything goes match. And look, I'm going to say credit to Sting for not dying on that ladder die, but this was garbage. This was absolute garbage. I'm glad that Sting is alive. I didn't want to see him, do a stupid spot and die during it. But he's the Painmaker, Chris Jericho. There were weapons and garbage, and I'm sorry. I don't care. I don't. Nothing that Jericho has done has been any good for at least the last 2 or so years. Maybe somebody should inspire him to actually, get more creative. Maybe he should get more focused. Ask him where his wife was on January 6th, 2 years ago. So anyway, there were a coffin drop. Darby hits the goddamn floor. 2 tables. 1 table had a shoddy leg. Sting said, Darby, you're not going to dive off this ladder. I will. He manages to hit 1 table. Darby should have tipped the ladder a bit, and then that might have actually worked. Or moved the tables, I don't know, a foot or so closer. Didn't quite work. Wasn't as bad as Foley at WrestleMania 2000, but still. And then we get ladder bumps, and Jericho's bleeding. And maybe he'll bleed out some of the alcohol. But anyway, a skateboard to the back. Sting's back up, for he is Stingvincible. He hits a Scorpion Death Drop for 2, and then they trade back and forth, and he gets the Deathlock locked on, and Jericho taps out. Okay, Sting didn't die on a ladder. Hooray! Or on a ladder bump. Not a good episode of Dynamite. I'm sorry, it just wasn't. This was, as far as filler, I still barely know her. The crowd was into some of this, but as far as a quality show, not good. Not good. I am worried about what the summer is going to be. Let's see what happens with Blood and Guts in a few weeks. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ricklin. I'll see you soon.